What would I do if I was 18 and starting the gym from scratch again? No knowledge, nothing like that. Obviously, I had to go and find out the knowledge. Or I was coaching this guy with the goal of getting an aesthetic physique, more muscle everywhere. Do appreciate a little bit of a shadow in this photo. But you can kind of see that this guy has the straightest of arms, no delts, really lean because I was in the army at the time, so I just was lean as fuck. And a tiny bit of a chest from all the press-ups they made us do. But that being said, I kind of did start the gym maybe a year or two before this. I just don't have any fucking pictures. This is the longest photo going back I have. The first things I would tell this guy to do is stop fucking drinking, for starters. That's not going to do him any good for getting towards the goal. But at 18, I guess that's what you do. I'd probably also tell him, don't buy designer shorts. Go and buy some good quality organic meats with it instead. That'd probably be my second course of action. And the next thing would be straighten your fringe out, boy. So we can go from there. No, only kidding. Those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Tom Sergi. I run the Gorilla Platoon. It's an online physique transformation program where we get results like this. And the topic of today's video is, what would I do if I was 18 and starting the gym from scratch? Great question. And it was kind of inspired, actually. I've got a client now who is pretty much in that situation, starting from scratch, brand new to the gym, brand new to everything. And we've just set him up with everything good to go. I'm not going to go through his profile for confidentiality reasons of like client name and stuff, but the overall template and what I would do is going to be shown to you now. So we're going to discuss the main topics: how I would program, the way I would train, what I would do with his nutrition, and I'll give you what I would do with this guy's nutrition, because obviously look at his start point by his condition of his midsection, but also if that's not your start point and you're 20% body fat, I'll give you a different angle that I would take from that approach as well, because I appreciate not everyone's starting skinned out lean, being a 18-year-old paratrooper. I appreciate that may not be the most common and relatable point, so I'll give you what we'd do at 20% as well. And then most importantly, how I'd get him to grow actual muscle. That is probably one of the most important parts. So we will waste no time and we will head straight over and get on with the programming aspect of the video. So if I was to do a training split with this guy, you've got two options. Now let's say, and I'm going to revert back to the client that I have actually has not been going to the gym, but he does have a set of rings. So what I would do then is I'd still set him up, and the same thing goes by with the way we would train. 3 sessions per week, full body only. And the reason you want to start with that, it may sound funny because if I knew what I knew now, but I'm starting from scratch, I would still do 3 days a week. Because look at the amount of training stimulus you have as medicine dosage. If you've got a headache, you don't need, I don't want to start getting down the route of bad treatment for higher things, but you get the point. If your headache is here, you don't need the amount of medicine that's to serve a problem that's of this magnitude. Does that make sense? Because obviously it would just be wasted, and fuck knows what it would do to you anyway. So the same is about training stimulus. You can use a 3-day split for a good year. You can milk the living shit out of that, and you will get some good gains off it. So you don't need to go straight to a 4, to a 5, and heaven, not a 6-day. No one needs to be doing a 6-day. That's why. So you want to be doing a 3-day split, because it's enough dosage. You want to do full body, and the reason I say that is because that way you're going to get your frequency in. You're going to be able to train the muscle, the main muscles, at least twice per week on a 3-day split. Your volume's not going to be that high, but again, your volume doesn't need to be that high. And dare I say it, even in your first 3 to 6 months, if you're training and you've still got a rep in reserve, that'll actually be okay. Progressing to 0 reps in reserve would be another means of progression anyway. Now, the actual split I would follow, we'll go through what I'd do if I was going to the gym and what I would do if I had body weight and rings and stuff to do at home. So if I was going to the gym, this would be the split I would follow and that I have clients to follow. Dumbbell split squat, I put this one first. Why? Because most people do not have the ankle mobility, the coordination, the motor control to do a double leg back squat safely. Now, you could absolutely swap this for leg press, 100%, and you would have my blessing to do so. But because you're new, and I do always say, we want to focus on the working muscle, so a leg press would make sense. But because you're brand new to training, that amount of stimulus from that exercise on the quads and the glutes will be more than enough. But as a side benefit, you actually it would serve you to have some balance and coordination and the core strength that comes with doing a split squat, and the fact you have to pull your lats down and back to keep your chest up when you're doing it. All of these actually play hand in hand and serve you. So I would actually program the dumbbell split squat. Obviously, we're looking to challenge the quad, and we're looking to challenge the glute, knee joint, hip joint, with everything else staying firm. I'd then be doing some form of a pull down, so a vertical pull down to train the lats. I'd be doing lion hamstring curl for the hamstrings, and then be doing an incline dumbbell press for the chest, dumbbell lateral raises for the shoulders, rope tricep pushdown for the triceps, and then a preacher curl machine for the biceps. On the sister day, I'd be doing leg extensions to start. Now I'd be starting with a row exercise instead of a pull down exercise, a hip thrust to challenge the glute. And again, if this was complex, you could put a leg press in with this. Because again, leg press is the beautiful thing about a split squat. You can probably get a bit more challenge at the knee joint. The leg press, your hip joint fully closes up if you go all the way down. So it's going to work the same as the barbell hip thrust. A plate loaded machine, chest press, dumbbell shoulder press, overhead cable tricep extension, and seated dumbbell curls. And then what you could do is on like spare days, you could do a little bit of ab work and that as well. But it's not too drastic at the minute. Things that are important that I'd be focusing on would be rep ranges and tempo. Now, for the rep ranges, predominantly, you can be doing anywhere from 8 to 12, and you could be dropping to a 12 to 15. Drop the load by 20% and do that back offset at this point. The most important thing I would be focusing on, the most important would be tempo. This would be the speed I perform the repetitions. If I knew what I knew now about lifting, I would be applying this from the jump. This has one of the greatest impacts in your physique. Your ability to utilize the eccentric portion of the movement coming down 3, 2, 1, stopping at the bottom and then driving back up. A, you've got more time and attention under the muscle. B, you're in control of each phase of the movement. Let's be honest, how many times have you seen people in the gym who just fall down and then try and bounce back out? They're not in control of that load, and they're not utilizing the working muscle. They'll move the load. You'll move the load with every fucking ounce of your body because you're globally using everything you've got to get it back up. But you don't stretch and shorten the muscle to get it to grow. And in those early stages of training, you need to be doing the right thing as fast as possible to get the muscle as fast as possible. It's hard enough as it is to grow muscle, let alone with you handicapping yourself, like lifting weights too fast. RER, I'd be training with about 1 in reserve until I fully understood because you're not going to know anyway, to be honest. I could give you reps in reserve. You're not really going to know within your first 3 months or so of training if you're truly training to failure, because you've not done it for long enough, and that's okay. You're going to be there to collect the data on that point. Last thing I'd be looking at is your range of motion, so making sure that the distance travelled is long enough, so you're actually taking it through the full range and all the way back up. Again, people will sell themselves short because they won't go deep enough. They won't go deep enough on when pressing, when squatting, and they won't get the elbow all the way down when pulling. And because of that, they'll leave some gains off the table. Distance travelled. You're doing the set anyway. You may as well do it slow and you may as well do it long because you're there anyway. You're suffering anyway. It's still a lot of effort to do it whack and just drive it back up really quickly. So you may as well take your time and do it properly. So that's how I'd be training. Of course, I'd be recording all my lifts because I want to be able to put my hands on the data that I'm progressing week on week. If I'm not doing that, then you ain't going to be making gains, are you? But those numbers in the beginning, they should absolutely be flying up week after week after week. It would not surprise me if you didn't stop making progress every week for that first phase of like 12 weeks, 100%. So I'd be doing this from a programming standpoint, tracking and recording. And obviously with this, you're just going to alternate. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, etc., etc., etc. Now, let's say, for example, you weren't going to the gym, whatever reason, it was too far away, you didn't really like the idea of it, you wanted to get some muscle first, whatever your reasoning for not going to the gym, I would respect it, because in the beginning, I mean, even in the end, to be honest, you can, if you've got a set of rings at home, you can train like an absolute animal and really perfect that. So, these are the 10 exercises I'd be doing. I'd be doing a skull crusher for triceps, I'll be doing a dip for triceps, although be it you may want to put your feet on the floor to begin with. I'll be doing a pull-up. I'll be doing some form of a shoulder press. Obviously, this is a regressed version. I'm not all the way upright. I'm not there yet, boys. I'm not far off. A row, a fly, a single leg squat, an ab crunch, a proper press up, and then a bicep curl. Just some ones that you may have interest in. This is a really good one for biceps. So I just wanted to give you this video here. So you're going to bring your feet in a little bit closer. Obviously, further away, the harder it'll be. And you're just going to only move that elbow joint coming down here, up, get the flex, and then release there. If I was doing the pull-ups, this is the way I'd be setting it up. Now with the pull-ups, we want to treat it like we do the lat pull down. So look at my hand position. Don't have them in this position. I want you, because from the off, I'd want you having that perfect arm path, which would be hands in a neutral position, and the goal is always to drag your elbows down towards your hip, getting the contraction up like this. Coming down steady, elbow to hip. Making your body one unison by bringing the legs up, squeezing the glutes, and creating that arch here. Again, you don't have to do, this doesn't have to be rings at home. You can actually do this exercise in the gym and it works pretty well. So that's a good one. And then let's do a push. Press-ups on here. Beautiful thing about press-ups on here versus the floor is the range of motion. Obviously, the floor would finish about there where my face is. You can go all the way down with this. You can go deeper, 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 deeper. And remember the goal. Drive the biceps across the pec in order to contract the pecs. Do the function of the chest. So this is how you'd progress from there. So they'd be my 10 exercises I'd follow through with this. And then if you needed to do a hamstring exercise, you're probably going to have to start with an RDL, where you're going to have to find some form of a load to actually do that with. But that's probably a topic for another day. So this is what I'd do if I needed to train at home. I'd break these exercises down 5 and 5, push and pull basically, and just alternate between the two. I'd pick a blend of them, and create 2 sessions, so with a push and pull in each of them is what I actually meant to say. So that's what I would do from a training standpoint. Now let's look at what we do from a nutrition standpoint. So we know, I know at the time I was about 68 kg and 9% body fat. I think that's a fair representation. If we look at the level of leanness we've got here, the indentation of the abs are pretty darn crispy. You can tell by the skin that's being sat around here. Again, not the best picture. I do apologise. So from there, lean mass is going to be sat at just shy of 62 with his RMR at 1.7. Active, let's say it's just the average level of activity. At the time, I was in the army, so I could probably put this at 175. But for argument's sake, I'm just going to keep it at 155. Let's say I'm the average guy, just doing the average thing. My maintenance would be around 2,600 calories. Now, I want to gain anywhere from 0.3 to 0.6 of a kilogram per week. So where you'd want to go with this, now you could bang it straight up, but I don't think your body would use it very well. What I would do, knowing what I know now and what I know for this guy, I'd start him at this for 1 week, just see what his body does, see what it responds to, and then I'd be upping carbohydrates straight away. 50 grams of carbs, 200 calories, and I'd keep that on repeat. Now he's already started on 500 grams of carbs. Cancel. Let me just level this back out. Yeah, he's going to be on, to be honest, around 375 grams of carbs, and that's going to be okay. So from there, you're just going to continue to add more food as you go on through the weeks, and he's going to need a shit ton of food. He's already started really lean. He's training. He's going to need a fair amount. He needs to always make sure he's in that surplus. How are you going to know that? Because you're going to tell him to track his weight every day, and you'll know if you're making progress or not. That'd be that. I left this off actually, but I would make sure that you were tracking your metrics. Make sure you're tracking your scale weight, taking photos weekly, tracking your nutrition. Now that's his analogy, and I don't think it's a very rare. I think it's more of a rare case than it is a common case. So let's say, for example, let's say 75 kilos and he's 20% body fat, because now we've got a different case on our hands, really. Because at the end of the day, he needs to build some muscle, but he's pretty high in body fat, but he's new. Remember, he's new to training and everything. So this is the way I would skin the cat with him. So RMR 1666, 155, his maintenance, again, just below 2.6. Now, what you can do with this, you could, again, sit him at maintenance for 1 week. And then what I would do is I would go into a slight deficit. The reason I would do that is you still want enough fuel to drive his performance in the gym. He will still build. Even if you sat him at maintenance, he'll definitely build muscle because he's so new to it. The stimulus is there. But what you can do is you can be a little bit tactful with it. You can put him in a very, very slight deficit of 200 calories, and you can sit him there for 6 weeks or so. His body weight, his scale weight, it'll drop off a little bit. You might end up around 72-ish after the 6 weeks. He might shed around, instead of it being a kilo a week, it might shed like half a kilo a week, which is absolutely fine, but he'll be building tissue as well. I'd then assess, see how he was looking after the 6 week point, and then at that point, I'd also then be simultaneously dropping the calories lower. I'd be slowly pulling from this, or I'd be increasing his cardio. And what this will do is it will then create the bigger deficit, but you've kept food as high as you can for as long as you can, which has allowed him to drive solid performance in the gym, all while he's a new lifter anyway, and is going to be responding even better. This is what I do for people that have lifted in the past. If you're a new lifter and I do this, it's like putting fucking fuel on a bonfire. It's going to blow up. So this will work hand in hand. And what this is also going to do is, now you've done the first 6 weeks, you start to pull that kilo off each and every week. He's going to look leaner, and because he's been training, of course, he'll be bigger, but he's going to look infinitely better because you've got him leaner, and you look so much better when you're leaner. You look bigger when you're leaner. Like, if I was, the photo I showed you, if I was like 15% body fat, I'd be small and a little bit soft, but because I'm so lean, I kind of look a little bit bigger than I already am. I'm not big in that photo, obviously, but like, my chest kind of looks a little bit better than it is. It was not good. It's just I was so lean in the midsection, it gave it the perception that it was bigger. So as you do this for this guy and you slowly pull it off whilst building tissue, the full recomp would look fucking really, really cool, especially from 20% body fat. Like, a lot of the results I've done here, just zoom this out, they all started from in and around 20% body fat. So you've got, I mean, this guy probably around 18, 19. This guy's around 20. This guy's around 20. This guy's 18, 19. This guy's around 20. 20. Definitely 20. 100% 20. And within 12 weeks, you can really make a big indentation in someone's physique. Like, that was 9. That was, this is his new photo. His initial recomp was 8 weeks, but this is now him essentially 6 months in. This was 12. This was 13, 10, 12, 13, 12, no, 11 actually. So you can make a serious change to someone's physique in that amount of time, just by doing what I've said exactly there. So hopefully you wrote things down there. If not, you can just go back and rewind it and write down everything I've said. That's what I do from a training and nutrition standpoint. How I'd get him to actually grow muscle. I would sort his habits out. That would be the next thing I would do. And it's not really the most sexy thing to say, but I'd get him to grow by getting him to sleep like a fucking baby. I'd get him to sleep 8 to 9 hours. If I can get you to sleep 8 to 9 hours, I tell you now, you are going to add a shit ton of tissue to your physique. Because your body's just tear, repair, tear, repair, tear, repair, tear, repair. If you tear and you create that crater, but you don't fill it back in with enough sleep, you're not going to grow. You might do a little bit, but it'll be so much slower and so much less efficient than it could have been if you just screwed the nut and got in bed early. So I would square, and the reason people don't go to bed early, it's down to their habits. They stay up late, they're on their phone, and they don't want to go to bed because it's not that exciting, and it's more exciting to stay up and see what's fucking going on in the world. When, to be honest, I would really just harness his mindset and be like, look, what do you want out of life here? You can stay up on your phone and look the same, or you can fucking get in bed early and grow that tissue back that we've just torn in the gym. The choice is really yours. And of course, I say it in all videos, but like, here it's all about what his character. If his character is still as that guy that is trying to get into shape, he'll never be in shape. If his character is, I'm going to be in fucking shape in 12 weeks' time, watch it now happen, motherfucker, he's going to act in accordance with that. As soon as you say, I'm trying to do something, you're not going to do it. You're basically saying, I know I can't do it because I'm a piece of shit, so I'm going to attempt it knowing I'm not going to finish it. That's basically what trying means. Whereas if you just said, I'm going to do it, I know I can because here's X, Y, and Z that I've done in the past to show I can do things, therefore I'm going to stick to it and get it done. So that's the issue. If he just said, I'm not trying, it is going to happen, he'd go to bed on time, and then he'd grow the muscle, and that's it. And honestly, it don't need to be more complicated than this, and I'm not going to go any deeper. Training that way 3 times per week, obviously apply progressive overload, lift it slow, lift it long, track your numbers. Nutrition, what I would eat, we didn't actually cover what I would eat. I'll go over that very quickly. I mean, pretty much you know where I'm going to go with this, but like, here's what I would do. I would find out my macros, which let's go back to the analogy of 20% body fat guy. 144 protein. Okay, cool. Well, if I'm having 144 protein, I go to 40 grams of protein at least in a sitting for a few sittings. Bang, bang, bang. What do I want here? I'd pick it out, make that bang. Next, fats. Need to be at 53. Cool. Distribute my fats across the meals. Bang, bang, bang. Choose my fats. Easy. Carbs, same here, and just distribute that. High GI carbs around the workout. Fruit, bread with jam. Lower GI carbs away from the workout. Oats. Pasta, I guess you don't want right before the workout. And that's all I do with that. And that's, I mean, to be honest, boys, I've done plenty of videos on like how to go from 20% to 10% body fat. Just go and find the diet that's exactly on there, and it's all like scripted out and how much you would need and stuff. So this is just a quick example. So that's what I would do. That's what I would do if I needed to get someone in shape from the jump and they were just starting out. Focus on training, eat the right amount of foods relative to their body composition, and sleep like a baby, and you will grow and your physique will absolutely blow up, especially in that initial phase. So enjoy it, get after it, don't waste no time, and I'd look forward to hearing about your results in the comments. If you found this video useful, subscribe. If you want to work with me and me to do it for you, then book a call and we'll go from there.